Hey there. I was trying to build a video and so I could upload it to YouTube, and wouldn't you know it, my laptop started overheating. And it gets really hot right in this area right here. Really hot. And on the side, where I touched the metal for the VGA connector, that was really hot. Almost too hot to touch it with my finger. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to check in here, because that's where the fan is. The fan turns and it pulls air through, and then it blows it out on this side right here. So I'm going to take it apart, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to clean it up. There could be some dust and junk, who knows, could be anything in there now. And this laptop here, it's an HP Pavilion G series. Pavilion G7-1350DX notebook PC. It's several years old, so it's gotten to the point now to where it's dirty. It's pulled a lot of dust into it. It's a good PC, but also my power button's not working exactly right, so I'm going to look at that while I'm in there. Otherwise, it works fine. I, I was using it trying to render a 7.5 minute video, and it overheated on me. So that's been part of my problem with putting some of my videos together. And of course, my phone over here, this thing, for some reason does about 50 seconds, or not quite a minute of video before it stops. And I'm thinking I might be having a battery issue in there. And it's not a space issue, because I've got space on it. But anyway, that's another issue. This is one of those Androids. So I'm gonna work on that, and we'll make a video on that, and hopefully I'll be able to get 2 videos rendered and uploaded. Alrighty. One thing you want to do is, of course, disconnect the power. So I disconnected this with power, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to pop out that battery, so that way it won't try to power on. But while I got it turned over, I'm going to go ahead and take this off here, and got loosened those 2 screws. So I try to make this go fairly quickly. So got those 2 screws loosened, and I can take this and just pop it up. Gotta make sure I really get that. See? There we go. Alright, so that's off. We'll just set that over there. And then, let's see, there's a screw here and here and here. But I need to take the hard drive out of there. So take the hard drive out. Disconnect the connector there. Set that aside. I think there's a screw right down there I need to take out. Yeah, right there. So I gotta take that screw out. And it helps if you have a like a magnetized tip where you hold those screws on there. See that? So taking some of these little screws out of here. Oh, not that one. That one right there. There you go. There's a couple of them there. I don't think there's one down there. There is something here. So I figure I'll just go ahead and take all these little screws out right here, because I'll eventually have to take all those out anyway. This one, that screw right there holds in the DVD player, so I'll go ahead and just take that out. Pop out that DVD player. I don't know if you can see that, but I took that screw out and that holds that in. So that's my DVD player. So set that aside. Now that I've got those screws out, I took that one out, that one out, that one out, and that little one there, I took that out. So I'm going to turn this back over, and I'm going to start popping this out. So I've got a little screwdriver here. It's a really thin tipped screwdriver. And there's a few little places, if you push these down, you notice there's like little indentions in there. Right, there's a few of them. I can't really tell how many there are right now, but there's a few little spots with little indentions. Well, that's where you want to put your screwdriver in. Right. And then pop it out. See how that comes up? That's what you want. So I start putting it in there and popping it out. Sometimes it'll slide back in, so you've got to be careful with that. Just scoot that down. And of course, if you're not careful, you may tear up the plastic. You don't want to tear up the plastic. You've got to be really careful on that. So anyway, I need something thin to put in there. So what you do is you find something thin, and what I found was this. I'm just going to stick that in there, a little plastic piece. And that'll help me be able to pop the rest of this out a little bit better. So there we go. That one came loose. Found something else. So just find little odds and ends, preferably plastic. So you can take like a piece of plastic, something that's not really going to damage anything in there, and just start popping it out. So you've got little things there that will hold it. So there you go. And you got this connector here, so you want to disconnect that. Wow, look at the dust. Man, there's dust all in there. If you notice, there's the fan. Right, and there's the fan. And there's just dust all in here. So that's why it's overheating. So let me go ahead and pop this out. Come on. There we go. You got to be careful when you do this, because you don't want to tear this. You see that? That's flimsy. You don't want to tear that. Hi, Josie. So I got that done. Now I can go back to the other side and start taking it apart a little bit better. You see right there's where that one screw held it on. That one screw's right there in the middle. So that I had to disconnect that, otherwise I wouldn't be able to get the bottom of that off. And a good time to clean this is when you have it out of here. Just get in there and kind of clean that up really good and wipe down everything. And I'll be doing that as well. So let me set that aside. There we go. Okay, I went and got me a little paper towel and just barely wet it. Had a little piece there. But this is just barely wet. It's not drippy or anything like that. So I figured I'd just take this and go ahead and wipe down what I can in here. It's okay to get it a little damp. Just don't do it when it's got power on it. But you want it to thoroughly dry before you turn it back on. So what I'm doing is, just kind of giving it a light little touch there. So there's a lot of dust in there, so I'm going to see what dust I can get out of there just by doing this. And don't force it, just barely rub it in there. It's good to have, it's good to clean while you go, I guess you can say. So anyway, I'll just be slowly cleaning it while I'm working on it here. Get out and don't leave any bits of this in there. So anyway, anywhere I see a little bit of dust or anything like that, I'll just see if I can get it off of there. Oop, see that? I just knocked that loose. So you got to be very, very careful. See that right there? I would have forgotten that later. Oh yeah, maybe I didn't just now do that. Maybe I did that before when I was Checking out. I think that goes to my power button. Remember I said my power button was giving me problems. So there you go. See? Yep. I opened it earlier just to look at it, and forgot to hook that back up. So anyway, yeah, I did that, and I was going to pop into this and just give it a quick fix, and then I figured, no, I'll go get my camera. I'm gonna record this while I do it. But anyway, just kind of giving it a wipe down here because it really needs it anyway. Yuck! Look at that screen. Dust. See, the house is really dusty. I don't know why. Just old houses, they just get dusty. I don't have central heat and air in the house, so it doesn't pull all the dust out and gets stuck in the filter, so it gets all over my laptop. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. Okay, I wiped that up a little bit. I'll come back and do some more later. But as I take it apart, I'm going to clean it up. But what I'm going to do right now is turn it over, and I'm going to finish taking out all these screws. So I took that one out, and that one out, and that one out, and that one out. And yeah, so that's so now I'm going to take the ones around the outside off. So I'm going to start here, and I'm going to work my way around. So there we go. There's one. Anyway, that one's loose. 2, 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. 11. That one's loose. It's just sitting in there. Didn't want to lift out. And that one is out. And then I don't know if you can see it, but there's a screw there and a screw there. So take those 2 out. Those are a little shorter. I gotta remember some little shorter ones go there. So gotta remember these in the corners are still in there. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start. Let me see. Oh, okay. I'm going to turn this over here, and let's see if I can start lifting this apart somehow. So I've got to make it pop apart here. I'm trying to remember how to do that. Alright, I grabbed that and I pulled it up and it snapped open a little bit. So I grabbed that side. Just put my fingernails under the edge and kind of like that, and then my thumb there, and just kind of give it a good pull. So I'll do it to the other side now. And you hear it coming undone? A little plastic piece in there. So doing that, I can see if I can do that all the way around. Maybe pop it loose. So I'll go around with my little screwdriver. I'll stick it in there and I'll just kind of pop it loose a little bit more. Just go all the way around. And, it's popping loose there. So just get in there. Kind of give it a little pry up with my fingers on this side while I'll pop it loose over here on this side. And just kind of hold your fingers in there. That way you can give yourself some room to kind of pop all that loose. Of course, that's where the DVD player is. It didn't look like there was much right there. And all right, so got one more little spot right there. There we go. And, oh yeah, there's a little screw there. Almost forgot about that screw. Look at that. There we go. The one hidden screw. That's why I had to take the keyboard off. So I had to get the keyboard out of there. Then I could go find that hidden screw. And that's a shorter screw, so I gotta remember there's a shorter screw goes here. But anyway, look at all that. It's getting much looser now. Notice these little ribbon cables? Gotta make sure those little ribbon cables get put back in the right spot. But if you notice, there's little blue plastic things on there. That's for grabbing it and giving it a pull. See that? Grab it and give it a little pull. And be careful, you don't want to disconnect them on the other end there. So this one's disconnected, that's disconnected, and that's disconnected. And that right there is where the keyboard plugs in. So let me see if I can keep popping this loose here. So I got that top loose. Okay, come on, get off there. Alright, what am I missing? Am I missing anything? Let me turn it over and look. Oh yeah, I'm missing that little screw right there. Okay, so let me pop that one out and see what happens. There we go. Did you hear it? It fell down. Alright, another short little screw. Okay, so look at that. It came apart. So let me lift that back up. So, now, look at that. Da-da-da! And yeah, there's some yucky dirt right there. You never know what's going to show up in here. All kinds of junk. Could be anything. Could be a bug. But I got to clean every bit of that out. Alright, let me put this over here. And check my camera just to make sure it's still working good. And it is. I've still got 2 bars left in my battery there. So, alright. So, I guess you can see it there, right? That's the fan. You can see the fan turn. So the fan's having a hard time keeping this cool. A lot of heat gets generated in that area right there. So if you notice, there's the VGA connector. So there's a lot of video graphics are done in this area. The fan is here as well. The battery's right there. So the heat seems to be mostly coming from this area. When I fill elsewhere, of course, there's not much over here in this area. It's all like right here. So your processing is done in here somewhere. Be on the back side of that, which I'll pull this out here in a little bit and we'll look at that. This is my speaker. My little speaker bar kind of fell down whenever I I moved it there. That's the other speaker. So I'll be pulling this out here in a minute. That way I can look underneath it and see what's going on with it. But you got to be very, very careful with this. You don't want to break it. You don't want to accidentally have like an electrostatic discharge of any type, like static electricity zapping it, because you will damage the components on there. So you got to be careful with that. Let's see, what am I going to do here? Alright, so like that's your USB connector, right? And that ribbon cable coming over here, so it says USB here, so that connects right there. And then down here is another little connector, and actually that's little lights on the side showing disk activity and stuff, so that connects there. This has a little cable that runs through there and over here, and it goes to right there, and that's where your DVD player slides in. So that's where your DVD player connects. And then you have this, right, that goes up here and goes through there and goes up to your display, right, your what you look at, your screen. So that's this connector goes to your screen. And then you got some wires over here. This wire goes right over into here and goes up in there, and I bet that's your antenna for your Wi-Fi, going up and then going around your screen here, so to give you your antenna. This right here, that's your power connection. This is where your power connector plugs in, and you got a wire that runs through here and back to right here. And notice there's a white plug there, so that's where your power comes in to your motherboard. And then you've got various different little connectors here, right? That one is your Ethernet connector. This one is your HDMI video. That's USB. That's USB. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. And then your microphone and your headphone, and then this one is for your SD card, right, where your SD card slides in. So yeah, I mean, you can see how all this fits together and fits in. So I've got a couple of little screws, like right there is one. So I got to find all those other little screws. Not really sure how many there are in here, but I'm going to take my time and I'm going to look for them. And so I'll take my little screws out, and then I'll be able to lift this up and look underneath it. That way I'll be able to see what kind of dust is collecting under there. And I'll need to go find something, some fine thing to clean around that fan and underneath, like a Q-tip. I'll go find some Q-tips and be able to clean all that up under there. Alrighty. Anyway, I got this pulled apart to a point to where you can see the actual fan, which is right here. Under here is the processor. You can see how it transfers heat from the processor through here over into the fan. Right, the fan is the cooling unit. Well, the fan spins. You can see it spinning in there, and it pulls air from inside here and blows it out that way. But what happens is you end up pulling air all through this, and it all comes to here, right, and then goes out there. Well, all the dust, anything that gets in there gets pulled into here over time. It collects on the fan, and it collects in here. This here is it's kind of like a radiator in a car, where the air will blow through it and it will cool it off, right? So what happens is the dust kind of collects in this area right here, and it keeps it from blowing through properly, and it keeps it from cooling. So what I got to do is I got to take this off. I got to pull it off here, and I got to pull it off of here, and I got to look all in here, and I got to get as much dust out of there as I possibly can. So anyway, right, I got to take it off of here and here. So under here is the processor. So I'm going to loosen these hold downs, and I'm going to peel it off of here. And that way I can flip this over, and I can look at it a little bit better to be able to see, get a much better feel for it. That's memory cards right here. I got another slot for memory there. Maybe I need to look into getting one of those and throwing it in there and give me a little more memory. But anyway, back to the task at hand. So I'm doing all that. I'll see about upgrading the memory later on. That might really help my PC work a little bit better, having more memory. And get this thing where it's not overheating, and then I'll get to the point to where I can do that. Oh yeah, the power for the fan is right here. So see if I can undo that without damaging it. Alright. Get room for my fingers in there. Alright, get off there. Lift that out of place. Alright. Of course, nothing wants to sit straight. It's all out of balance now because this is heavier than this now. Because I kind of got it taken apart. Alright. There it goes. Alright, so there's your fan. And there's the cooling thing for the processor. And my job right now is to take this apart. There's a little tiny screw right here. And a little tiny screw right there. So I'm going to have to get a screwdriver that actually fits those little tiny screws. Alright, let me go find a little tiny screwdriver. Alright, I removed those two little screws. Really tiny little screws. I guess you can see these. So you need to get the proper size little screwdriver for that. Otherwise you'll mess them up. So now that I've got those off of there, I can take this little cover off of here. And on the sides there's like these little metal clips that are holding it on. So I pulled that one out. So there's one there. Whoop. Okay. Anyway, I got the fan off, And look at that. I don't know if you can see that very well, but let me shine a light in there. Look at that. That thing is chock full of dust. Just horrible. Let me see if I can get a better close-up view of this. Alright, I'm going to bring it up here. This will give you a really good example of... Okay, let me focus this. No, it's not going to focus up close. Alright, got to focus on my hand. Alright, now look at that. See that? That is all dust in there. See it? That right there is why this PC was overheating. It is just full of dust. See that? Now, I clean this out. The air will flow, right? The fan will blow through here and it will help cool the processor off. Now that right there is why your PCs sometimes overheat. Well, all you gotta do is clean it out and it'll cool a lot better. So that's why I'm doing this. So while I'm at it, I'm gonna clean this out. So there's dust all over this. And you don't want to accidentally push it down in there either. You want to just get it out of there the best you can. And then of course we'll blow through it in the opposite direction from where the fan actually blows it out. And look at that. And can you see that? That's yucky. So all that in there is blocking the airflow. And that right there makes your PC overheat. And that's what was wrong with mine. So I'm going to clean this out a little bit better. And I'm going to start putting it back together. When you put it back together, the same way you take it apart, but you in reverse, right? Of course, anybody knows that. When you go put it back together, you put it back together in reverse of exactly the way you pulled it apart. So, there you go. That right there is why it overheats. Okay, so I cleaned it off. You can see how it's right there. You can see through it, right? Earlier you could not see through that. It was just full of dust and junk. I cleaned it out by blowing air through it, and I took a Q-tip and kind of cleaned, a little bit, but I just kept blowing air through it until I got it all cleaned out. And now it's nice and clean. So now when the air blows through it, the air will flow and it will cool off much better. So now the task is to put it back together. So just start putting it back together in the way it came off. And of course this fan right here, see how that fan turns? Oh, sorry. See how the fan turns? So that fan blows right through it. Alright, let's refocus this thing. There we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back together. And you saw me take it apart, so you'll see me. Well, I'm going to put it back together and then I'm going to show you or talk to you about the results. So I took it apart, I cleaned out the fan, and I put it back together. So I took my time, I made sure I was safe, I wore my eye protection, I made sure the power was not connected. I had the battery out and the main power, so that way, there was no electrical shock hazard. I remembered exactly where every screw went. I remembered where every little connector went. So when I put it back together, I put it back the way that I took it apart, just in reverse, in opposite. So I'll throw the battery back in. turn it over. Of course the lid's dirty. I'll wipe that off later. I'm going to grab the power. I'm going to plug the power back in. And I'm going to turn it on. Oop. Anyway, I reconnected the power button. And there it goes. And already I can tell the difference because the sound of the fan. And I put my hand down here. I guess you can see that. Right there is where it blows out. And I can feel the air. It's actually got much better airflow now. Very, very good. That means that it's really going to keep my processor clean. Well, clean in terms of there's no dust in there right now, but also keep it cool. So now this thing will probably last me another 5 years, hopefully, now that I've cleaned that out. Otherwise it would have overheated and damaged some components. So I feel air flowing through there. The fan is not working as hard as it was before. Before I could hear that fan just, it was working really hard. So that is a really good sign. Really, really, really good sign. So, alright, I don't want to put my password in while you're looking. So, anyway, that's the video. My HP laptop was overheating. Had a lot of dust in there. I cleaned that dust out, put it back together, and now I've got really good airflow. So hopefully this thing will work really good and last me a long time. If you like my videos, give me a thumbs up, share my videos, you know, make comments, subscribe. I like subscribers. You know, people give me ideas and talk to me and ask questions, and it really helps me on some of my projects. Anyway, talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.